If you're grappling with the possibility that you may have ADHD, then today's video is for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you the best ways to tackle getting an accurate diagnosis, so make sure you stick around to the end of this video so that you don't miss anything. And if you're a woman who's late diagnosed with ADHD, or you just believe that you have it and you're struggling to manage your ADHD, then I want to let you know that I'm here to help, because I also have ADHD and I know firsthand how hard it can be at times. So I've dedicated my life to helping women to thrive post-ADHD diagnosis. There is a link to get on a free consultation call with me in the description of this video. I'd love to chat with you to see how I can support you. The first thing you can do is to rule out other conditions that may mimic ADHD symptoms, like being anemic, thyroid issues, and menopause. Because all of these conditions can mimic ADHD symptoms, especially if you didn't have these symptoms during childhood. And here's a kicker: if you do have ADHD and any of these conditions, then it will make your ADHD symptoms worse. So dealing with them first should help. I have struggled with anemia for a number of years, and recently I went to my gynecologist to see about really heavy periods that I was having. I'm in perimenopause during the time of the taping of this video. I am 48 years old. The gynecologist ordered an ultrasound for me, and I found out that I have large uterine fibroids, or should I say had large uterine fibroids. The way to remedy this was to get a hysterectomy. I did get to keep my ovaries during the hysterectomy, which really helped with ADHD symptoms as well, because I wasn't put into medical menopause. But they removed a large fibroid and my uterus and my cervix and my fallopian tubes, and it has drastically helped my ADHD symptoms because I'm no longer anemic. So if you're somebody who struggles with really, really heavy periods that could make you anemic, never take iron pills or supplements unless it's under the care of a doctor, but getting a blood panel done to find out if you have any of these conditions can really help either rule out ADHD as a diagnosis or help you manage your ADHD better. The second thing that I recommend is to learn about ADHD. And the easiest way to learn about ADHD is to go onto an online publication like ADDitude Magazine. I will link the website for ADDitude in the description of this video. This site has a robust search engine, almost like its own Google built within it, where you can look for specifics about ADHD in their search engine. You could use search terms like ADHD in women or ADHD symptoms. You could even put in anemia and ADHD to see how being anemic affects ADHDers. You can also look at the DSM-5 online to see if the symptoms listed there resonate with your own lived experiences. Or I found a user-friendly online article that I will link along with the DSM-5 link for ADHD in the description of this video. I've also linked a self-assessment questionnaire to help even further zone in on more of the potential lived experiences that you may have gone through as a potential ADHDer. Two of the most common coexisting conditions that many ADHDers struggle with are anxiety and depression. So if that's something that you've been struggling with for quite some time, it may indeed be an indicator that you have undiagnosed ADHD. The third thing that you can do is document your lived experience. When you're filling out the self-assessment and researching ADHD, it's important to make notes on how ADHD symptoms have directly impacted your life in a chronic way. For example, we're all late sometimes, and we've all misplaced our keys from time to time, but that does not necessarily make someone have ADHD. And this is where the saying, "everybody is a little bit ADHD," really drives me bonkers, because it is the chronic occurrence of these things that a doctor will look at when considering whether or not you are an ADHDer. The first question on the assessment linked below in part B is, how often do you make careless mistakes when you have to work on a boring or difficult project? Making a careless mistake is something we all do from time to time, especially if we are stressed out at the time. But if you find that this happens a lot throughout your life, that might be an indicator that you're ADHD. So making notes on the different times in your lifetime that you've struggled with careless mistakes could help a doctor understand the impact this has had on you better than rating this solely on the scale in the assessment alone. And my fourth tip is to find a medical professional who understands ADHD and how it manifests in women. ADHD manifests in girls and women as more of an internal phenomenon, whereas ADHD in boys and men is commonly more external. I want you to think about that hyperactive little boy while you were in elementary school who was disrupting the class. That is a stereotypical but archaic version of ADHD that so many of us know. If you're lucky enough to have a family doctor, you could ask them what they know about ADHD, and if it seems like they aren't very up to date on the research, or if they claim ADHD is way overdiagnosed and ever since TikTok it has become this new condition that people just want to have, that might not be the right doctor to help you with your diagnosis. If you find this to be true for the medical professional that's currently in your life, or that you find, asking for a referral to a psychologist or a psychiatrist to get formally diagnosed could help you greatly. And I know firsthand how difficult it can be to walk into a doctor's office wanting to get a diagnosis for ADHD after I did all my research and wrote down my lived experiences to pair with the questionnaire, and then to be faced with a doctor who said, "You don't have ADHD." I have combined ADHD, which means that I have inattentive and hyperactive ADHD, but I'm pretty quiet and I'm not outwardly hyper. My hyperactivity is with rumination, with racing thoughts, and if a doctor or medical professional is not up to date on the research of ADHD, for example, it wasn't until the 90s that we even realized that ADHD could be in adults, then you may get misdiagnosed with anxiety, depression, or even bipolar disorder. So making sure that you talk to someone who understands ADHD will help to ensure that you get an accurate diagnosis and you don't get pushed off to the side like so many of us women do when it comes to anything in the medical field. And I really cannot stress enough how important it is for your healthcare provider to understand ADHD. And if they don't, you need to advocate for yourself and go to someone else until someone will listen to you. And that's not just with ADHD, that's with every aspect of women's health. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Again, I have a link in the description of this video to get on a free consultation call with me to talk about ADHD coaching and how I can support you if you are a late diagnosed ADHD woman. If you haven't already, please like this video, give me a comment, send it to a friend, and I will see you next week in the next video.